They're gonna receive their payment from that
I'm
program. They have in the past.
can pay. You're shaking your head. I hate when people shake their head at me. I just hate that. You
Because
want
I
to get off here and tell everybody I'm the worst judge in the country? Feel free. Preston Point versus Chanel Himes, 2601467. Good morning, ma'am. Your name, ma'am?
you know, Hines.
Okay, you got to keep your voice up for me, nice and loud. Did you listen?
So if you're on the mobile device, basically what this text says, the caption, non-payment of rent with subsidy dispute. So she's getting her rent subsidized, and it says today's tenant thinks she cracked the code. Why pay full rent when a subsidy should cover most of it? Problem is, should doesn't stop an eviction. And as she keeps talking, you can see the judge realizing this isn't confusion. This is commitment to a bad argument. So it should be good. Let's go ahead and get back into it. But first, y'all, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype.
Listen to and understand the rights on the video.
Yes, I did.
You wish to speak to a lawyer or apply for funding?
No, no, sir. No, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Drozak, your appearance?
Good morning, Your Honor. Mike DeRosak, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, Preston Point.
How much does she owe in total?
In total, all in, we have $2,686.94.
Can you pay that, ma'am?
No, that's not correct. It's 12/14/25. As of March 26th with the fees. And then for April, it is with the fees 508. And it should make it like 1722.25.
Wait a minute. He's indicating a rental rate on his complaint of $1,450.
Yes, but there was a subsidy for that. So the amount was
Well,
only
but they don't
383. I'm
have to
looking at
include
the
the sub.
ledger. I'm sorry. Say
They
that
don't
again,
have to.
sir.
What?
They don't have to include the subsidy in their amount if the.
Okay, I'm basing it off of what I received in my door. They're gonna
Hang
still
on,
receive
slow down
that.
1 second. 1 second.
Yes,
What
sir.
was the total amount owed as of March the 26th, you said?
On this ledger I received in my door with the court, it was $1,214.25.
So, but they're entitled
That's
now
with
to the 1450, right? Plus a late fee for April, right?
this was just through March, and then April would be 383 is my portion plus their $125 late fee. So
Have they
that would
been
be
paid?
another.
Have you guys received, I don't know who the subsidy is coming from. Have you received any payment from them?
We have not received a payment, Your Honor,
Oh
since
my
March
goodness.
9, according to the
So,
ledger.
so on my math, you got 2664.25 plus a late fee. I don't know. I think they shortchanged themselves.
No, the total amount should be, Your Honor, because it was the note in my door was for the 965.25, which was correct with their late fees. Then they added 250 in legal fees on the 26th of March and
Well,
the
how
le-
many,
and
how many, how many,
24.
what are your late fees?
$50 a month, Your Honor.
The late fee, they're charging $50 and $75. And so 125 a month in late fees each month. $249 in legal fees. My rent is $383 for the month of
No, but your
April.
rent isn't 383 if it's 1450 and the rest is being paid by somebody else.
It's being paid by the veterans program, the veteran housing program.
All right, let's
So
slow
they
down.
pay, the
Let's
HAP
slow
program
down
pays.
here. Let's slow
Yes,
down
sir.
here. Let's slow down here.
Yeah, let's slow down because she's bringing up the court. She keeps saying the court fees. Yes, ma'am. Even if the full amount isn't what you're disputing it to be, if they have to bring you to court for anything you owe, whether it was $50 you still owe them, then why wouldn't you think you'd be responsible for the court fees? And it sounds like she has the confusion of, well, they're supposed to be paying the subsidy is supposed to be paying this. So what I'm supposed to owe is this. But she doesn't realize that if the subsidy doesn't pay it, then you're responsible for the full portion. So they can actually bring you up on that regardless of what you were used to in the past. It seems like that's where the disconnect is. But let's get back into it.
You know, I'm not going to give you $125 a month in late fees. I'm going to give you $75 in late fees at maximum. The
Yeah,
complaint says the monthly late fee is $50.
that's what I have written down for my review of the lease. I don't know that they actually charge this 125 that Ms. Himes is stating, but I'm happy to,
It is charged. It's
to
in the
review to
ledger
make
that
sure that it's not in there yet. Judge, I know we can't do 125 in your court.
So
it's in the ledger. I'm looking
wait a
at the
minute,
ledger, Your
ma'am.
Honor, that
Wait,
I guess the
please
bailiff put on the
stop.
door.
You're really interrupting now. Please.
I
I'm trying to
apologize,
get
Your
to
Honor.
the bottom of this, and you want to keep insisting that your portion of the rent is only $386 or whatever you're telling me. That's great. But they have the right to charge any balance on this account. So if you owe 1214.25 and the rent, if it's true, is 1450 per month, whether it's coming from you or the veterans program, it's 2664.25 plus a late fee of 50, and that's 2714.25 plus any cost.
All right,
So I
let's just
don't know
stick to
why
it.
you're saying you only owe 1,500 or thereabouts. They're entitled to charge that if they haven't received it from the veterans program. It's incumbent upon you to call them up and say, listen, they're going to throw me out of here if the judge doesn't, if you don't make this payment for me.
Right.
So he's an
May I
officer of the
explain?
court. He's not going to lie to me. If he did, he'd have big problems. Plus, he's never lied to me before, and I know he wouldn't lie to me now. And he's not going to tell me that they've not received the payment from the veterans program if they've received the payment from the
Thank you.
veterans program. Now, I want to work
Your
with you.
Honor.
I want to work
Yes,
with
sir.
you and help you make this payment if
Ma'am.
I can. I certainly want to do that for you, ma'am. But we got to get past what is owed first. And I'm not quite clear why you're telling me it's only 1,500 or something, because they don't have to take into account.
Yes, sir.
She can control herself. And I'm so glad he did that, because did y'all notice what he did? We were getting caught up in whether a late fee is $50 or $125, and whether or not paying her portion. We were getting caught up in all this other stuff. And he just brought it right back on task as far as, listen, this is ultimately what you owe. If they don't pay it, it's incumbent on you to make sure that you facilitate that. And if you can't convince them to pay it or get them to do it in a timely manner, then it's going to be your responsibility. So ultimately, he just said, they can't charge those type of late fees in my court. It's already been established. Let's push that aside, because we're deterring away from the original problem, which is just what you ultimately owe. This is what you ultimately owe. He wouldn't lie and say that he didn't get it when they really did, because it's not because he's taking his side. It's because that guy's license would probably be at risk if he lied, because he could never then give an account in the court ever again, because his testimony, he would have already been seen as a liar. So he would lose his license. People in these type of positions can't lie in court. Otherwise, that's their entire life. And so the judge is like, we're not even going to address that because he can't lie.
Well, tell me now. I've explained to you, but
Okay,
I
yes,
don't want to
sir.
argue about this either.
No, I'm not. I promise you I'm not, Your Honor. I'm at work right now at the VA, and I'm just trying to explain what I received in my door. I've never received a ledger before. I'm holding the whole packet that came in the door with a ledger that I've never seen before attached. And at the
See,
bottom of this ledger that they printed out, that I guess the bailiff or whomever put into my door, says March 26th, the total fees due is 1214.25 through the end of
Yeah, but your
March.
April rent's due
The
now.
I understand that, but what I was trying to explain to you, Your Honor, was that they receive a check from the HAP for the subsidy. It says Section 8 HUD rent as a HUD VASH program as a vet. Okay, they may not have received that payment yet, Your Honor, of 1067. That could be why they're factoring in it being 1450. That's what I was trying to explain. But at the end of this ledger, it's saying I owe 1214.25. Then for the month of April, my portion of that subsidy, Your Honor, will be 383 plus their $50 late
I'm
fee
trying
plus
to
their
tell you,
additional
I'm not just
$75 late.
including your portion. That's not fair to them.
They're gonna receive their payment
They're
from that
gonna.
program. They had in the past, and they will
Mm-mm,
continue to do so. And it comes after my portion is paid. That's what I was trying to explain to you, Your
mm-mm.
Honor. So that's why I was saying they're going to still receive that 1067. I
Mr.
understand you're factoring it
DeRozak,
in, but
my,
Your Honor, I expect that we will receive the 1067. Of course, I have no idea when that will be. I have no problem extending the writ date a bit if that would give Ms. Himes some comfort. That would give additional time for
well,
that
that's what I'm trying to
subsidy to be
do,
made.
but I don't want to keep going through this.
Yeah, because what you got to understand is they've already started the proceedings too. So she might just be a victim of timing. And by timing, I mean that they didn't do it as instant as she needed it to be done. And they're not going to sit around and wait and hope and wish on a star. They're going to handle their business and go ahead and get you up out of there if you don't pay on time. So since the timing didn't match, now she's in a predicament because they may not even be able to accept that. And that's why he said we can extend the date, the writ date, because once they start the proceedings, if they accept any money, then that could void the case and make them have to start all over again. And she's already kind of shown that she doesn't want to have to be responsible for court fees, but they would have to refile all over again. And then you're going to be sitting here like, oh, well, I don't want to pay your fees.
I mean, I don't
I
understand why you're even at only 2664, 20, whatever you told me, 2686.94. You should be more than that, but
no,
I
it
don't
shouldn't.
know. I'm good to give you the 2686.94 because I'm convinced that you're at least entitled to that. And
I
if I
don't
do
owe
the math on this, including your
2686.
filing service and statutory attorney fees, you're going to be closer to $3,000. But I'll give you the
I don't owe that.
2686.90.
I don't owe that.
Why are you shaking your head, ma'am? Why are you doing that? I don't want to argue with you.
Be- No,
They're
I'm
in,
not. My portion total, Your Honor,
Is
as of today,
she
Your
trying to
Honor, with
overtalk
April's
him?
rent and the late fees would have been
She just
1742.
overtalked the
And I
judge
understand you're
while
factoring
he
in
was
at
talking.
1450, but they're going to get the 1067 for the month of March and the 1067 for the month of April from that agency. So based on this ledger, I have this for 1425 through the end of March 26. I was just going to ask for an extension for my subsidy portion for the month of April, with the late fees, which
Mr.
would have been
DeRozak,
508. And I was going
am
to
I
ask,
mi- hang on. Am I missing something? You are free to tell me, Judge, I see your point and I'm wrong.
No,
Am
I
I
don't think you're
missing?
missing anything, Your Honor. And like I said, I'm happy to extend to the end of the month, if that'll give
Oh,
Ms.
but
Himes comfort to
he
make
wants to
her
keep
make her
arguing
payment.
with me, and I
I'm
have no
not.
other way to do this. I'm sorry. I can extend this long enough for you to get on the phone and call him and say, send him the money. And
They're
I
not
can
going to
extend it,
send it, Your Honor,
ma'am,
until I
you're
make
gonna
my
keep
portion.
interrupting me now today. I just
Wow.
can
No,
tell.
sir. I was
I
just,
love it
She
when
is
people
Your Honor,
really
do
they're not
that.
going to send
overtalking
it
him.
until I send my portion.
And then she's
They're
still
not going
getting
to
it
pay
off.
it. I can't call them because they're not going to pay that portion, Your Honor, until I pay my portion. That's why I was trying to seek clarification on my portion. That's all, Your Honor. I'm not trying to argue. I just was trying to elaborate on the ledger. I'm not
I'm
arguing
gonna
with
give
you,
him a
sir. I would never
judgment
do
amount of
that.
2684.94, 2686.94. I'm convinced that between you and the agency, that is at least, I know you're shaking your head, but that's the amount that's at least owed. Now, I can extend the writ date. He's entitled to one on the 23rd, but I'll be happy to help you out here if you just tell me what you can afford to pay and when.
Can you please give me a breakdown of this 2686.84?
Go ahead, Mr. DeRosa. 2686.94, I think you told me, right?
Correct. That's the total.
Do you all see what they're really negotiating right here? She's getting evicted no matter what. He's saying I can extend the writ date because how they're processing this and what she's trying to like wiggle around is the fact that sure, even if you get evicted, you still owe this money. So the judge is coming at it from the stance of, well, yeah, you actually owe that money. You lived there for those dates. So in his mind, there should still be a good faith effort of you still trying to repay, even if you get evicted and have to go somewhere else. What she's trying to do is it's like she's trying to negotiate if they pay it or if I pay this then they can pay that. But she doesn't realize they can't accept your money anymore because they've started the eviction and it's happening. And if they accept any money, it's going to void the eviction and they'll have to restart. And they just don't want her as a tenant anymore. So she's trying to like wiggle around. She doesn't want to hear any of this as far as extending the writ date because it still means that you're going to get evicted. They'll just give her a little bit longer to move her stuff. Otherwise, what she's about to end up is probably like a 24-hour writ date. So right now it seems like they're negotiating the writ date in an attempt to still make sure that she pays them what she owes. That's what it seems like they're actually negotiating. Just in case you're confused, she's not staying there anymore. That's a wrap. She's getting evicted. But now it's about when will you get evicted? And he's saying, we don't mind extending it, but it seems like it's going to be incumbent on whether or not she pays either partially what she owes or the entire balance.
And what I did, Your Honor, and perhaps what I've done is when I took out some of those $75 late fees that I saw on the ledger. So what I show is rent retained possession of $2,290.25. 3 months of late fees at $50 each of $150. I have court costs of $246.69, which gets me to the total of $2,686.94, if my math is correct.
Okay,
And is
so
that paying me through April, Your Honor?
yeah, that would take care of everything through the end of April.
That's correct.
And 2290, can you break that down? How you got 2290? Is that 1450 times 2? Is
Well,
what I'm just asking.
That one's a little more difficult because the last zero balance I see is October of 2025. So there's been payments made here and there, so it's not a flat 2 months. We'd have to go back penny by penny for many, many months to get to the last zero balance to move forward to figure out exactly.
Well, I'll tell you how I'm calculating it, man. You told me that as of March the 26th, and you seem to adopt this, that the total amount that you owed according to the ledger was $1,214.25. Whether you agree with it, like it, don't like it, I'm adding in the $1,450 for the month, starting April 1, which is which brings the total to $2,664.25 plus a $50 late fee, which would take it to $2,714.25, and that doesn't even include your court costs or statutory attorney fee, which he just spelled out is another $396.69. So at the very minimum, you're getting a break here. Now, I'm going to order that, and I'm not going to argue with you. I'll invite you to tell me when you can pay. You're shaking your head. I hate when people shake their head at me. I just hate that.
Because
you want to get off here and tell everybody I'm the worst judge in the country, feel free.
No,
I hate
it's not
that. That's disrespectful, and I'm not going to argue with you anymore. I'm going to try to help you.
I wasn't arguing. I was apologizing, Your Honor. I said
But
I
you're still shaking
apologize.
your
head at me.
You're still
You've been
shaking
your head.
Because they're going to pay them.
He's not asking you why.
Each month they have in the past.
He's not asking you why. Stop shaking your head.
I've already gone through
and
this
he's
with
saying
you
a
3
zero
times.
balance has been October,
Ma'am,
but I paid the 900
I'm not
like when
reconsidering. I'm not reconsidering. I'm asking you to tell me when you can pay this so I can help you. If you persist in arguing with me about who's going to pay who, when, and how much, I'm just giving you April 23rd. Period.
I won't. Okay, Your Honor, would that include them making their payment of the 1067 through the agency for March and April through April 30th?
That includes this payment. Yes.
Would that be, Your Honor, would that be subtracting from the amount that you're saying that I owe? Because
if it gets paid, it
I
will.
only
Yes.
owe what I tried to explain.
If it gets paid, yes.
It would be subtracted. Absolutely. I'm not trying to stick you with this and then have them say they still got to pay them the 100,000 and whatever amount of dollars. This is all included. They're entitled to a judgment on the rent that's owed, whether as to what has not been paid. And that's what I'm trying to tell you nicely, and you want to just keep arguing with me. Can you pay
I'm trying
all
to
of this?
understand. I was
Can
trying
you
to understand. What is the exact amount that you're saying,
Wow.
sir?
can you pay all of this money, including the subsidy money, which you will be credited for by April the 23rd or April the 30th? Can you do
April the
that?
30th, but what is the full amount, Your Honor, that you're referencing? The 2290,
Six,
Your Honor, 25?
no, 2686
20.
94.
I have 1214 and 25 cents that was at the end of the ledger. Can I pay that tomorrow when I'm off? I currently have 1214.25 in a money order, which was through the end of this ledger. Can I make that payment at the office tomorrow, please? And then subtract that from this 2686.96 that you
Absolutely.
that is
I'll
being
tell you
stated
what
that
I'm
I
going
owe.
to do. Defendant, counsel, defendant to pay 1214.20.
You know what's crazy? She's got a mask covering up majority of her face like a ninja. And you can still see the attitude even through the mask. Ain't that crazy? You can still see it. You can still feel the full expression of her attitude, even with majority of her face being covered up. You got to get some discipline.
By April the 14th. And if she pays that amount, the writ date is extended until the 30th of April. Okay, so you pay that 1214.25. They should be able to then pay the subsidy kick in. And all of that's added in, and the total
Right.
amount that's paid between you and the veterans program will be 2686.94.
There you go.
Very good, Your
And
Honor.
Okay?
I'll do
yes,
that.
sir. Now, yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. You'll submit that order, Mr. DeRozak?
Yep, we'll get that prepared and
I'll
submitted
receive
right away,
something
Your
in the
Honor.
mail.
You'll receive that. You should have it from me signed in the next day or so, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
DeRozak.
So basically, they were kind of negotiating when the writ will kick in. And she would have been dumb not to comply to this and pay that money. See, what a lot of people want to do is they're going to get evicted anyway. They'd rather just keep their money. But see, she's incentivized to pay it because then that organization will pay the other half. So at the very least, she won't have a debt hanging over her head. It seems like it was just they didn't pay it in the timing it was supposed to get paid, and she didn't reach out to them and ensure that it got paid. So the leasing company was quick to go ahead and file the eviction, and once the eviction was filed, they weren't going back on it. So, and I think that's really where a lot of her frustration comes from. But it was really her fault because she didn't make sure everything went through as it should. And now it seems like they're willing to pay it, but it's too late. So you might as well just clear the debt and move on. And she's gonna have to find another place. And she's still getting evicted, and it's gonna be on her record. And my main thing is just, man, I wish I could go in court and just act like that as a man. Let me tell you something. The first time I would have shook my head, the judge would have told me, "Bring your monkey in this courtroom. We're not doing nothing else on Zoom. I want him in here now." And you know why he would have did that? He would have made sure, because if I did it in there, they would have grabbed me up and threw me in jail for like 15 days or something. But it seemed like she just gets scotch free to just be able to overtalk the judge. I didn't even look. I just said if I shake my head in disagreement, imagine me overtalking the judge, overpowering him with my voice, and like winning every time. Every time her and the judge was talking, she won. And then she continued talking and the judge would be quiet. She was winning every time in his courtroom. She really took control of his courtroom. I think he was trying to be cool because he was trying to help the leasing company out to to try to get recoup some of their money that they're owed. But yeah, she was over talking the judge, and I'm like, man, I know I could never. I could never. It could never happen. But we'll leave it there for today. If you like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second. It actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you can hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button, then it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller content creator, we actually get more points per hype. And then also Patreon's link below. if you want to see self-improvement content. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.